Good morning, Mr.
Good
Johnson.
morning, Miss Ray. How are you today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing well.
Excellent. Okay. We set a goal last week on November 4th, and I noticed how you met your goal of 85% of your students mastering SC 4.5D over perimeter. They were creating rectangles and you had your students to measure with rulers and other strategies in peer groups using discourse to justify correct answers. Okay. What made that successful?
I think the success of that lesson was due to them first knowing the vocabulary, and then we had strategically worked on each part of the sequential order in order to find the perimeter. We tackled the vocabulary, we made sure that they understood the dimensions, the measurements of a rectangle, and then we also made sure that they knew how to execute it going both ways, when they're given the perimeter and when they're not given the perimeter, when they're given one of the dimensions or when they're given all of the dimensions. So I think that would led to the success of the increase in the percentage of those students who mastered this particular SC.
Okay, let me give you snaps for that. Good job. And I noticed that you did meet that particular goal that you set for the kids, 85%. Okay, today I want to dive deep into aggressively monitoring doing independent practice. What was your key criteria success for aggressively monitoring?
One of the things that I wanted to make sure when I aggressively monitored, I wanted to make sure that each student knew what I was looking for. I didn't want it to be an culture moment, I got you off, caught you off guard moment. I wanted you to know specifically when I come around, this is what I'm looking for, so that you're at ease, but you understood this is what I was supposed to do.
Okay, excellent. What were you ideally looking for when you were making your labs?
When I made my labs, some of the things that I was looking for, were you able to generate a formula that would provide the rectangle, a perimeter for a rectangle? Were you able to label that rectangle properly? Meaning, were you able to label the sides, the lengths, the widths, based on the information that you were given or information that you were not provided? Some of the problems you had to measure and find the length and width on your own. So I wanted to make sure that they were able to label the rectangles correctly. And then I wanted to make sure that they were able to execute the formula. Not only just know the formula, but how to apply the formula and use it to solve and find the perimeter. So those were the things that I was ideally looking for when I made my labs, when I was aggressively monitoring.
Excellent. Okay. I know we just watched a video of another teacher using the same technique, the aggressive monitoring techniques. Can you tell me the actions the teachers took to effectively aggressively monitor?
There were several things that I noticed in the video that this teacher took to effectively monitor. One of the things that I noticed that each lap she made, she labeled it. So the students knew exactly what she was looking for each time she walked around aggressively monitoring. And then she also reminded them of the time. She would also indicate you had X amount of time to complete this particular lap, depending on what she was looking for. And she adjusted the time as needed. But like I said, she labeled each lap. The students knew exactly what she was looking for. And then as she aggressively monitored, she didn't give them the answers, but as she aggressively monitored, she would also kind of prod to see if they knew exactly what they were supposed to do, and then kind of give them some hints to move forward if they were stuck.
Okay. So when you think about what you did with your aggressively monitoring and actually looking at the video, what is the gap between your aggressive monitoring and the exemplar with the video I just showed you?
One of the things that I feel that I could do a better job on is making sure that they understand the amount of time that's given to them on each lap. And then one of the things that I noticed that she had a order that she would take her laps in, making sure that my laps are in such an order to identify any misconceptions so that we can correct those immediately.
Okay. Was there a challenge in implementing the coding system in having your exemplar?
No, it wasn't. Just getting the kids to understand what each code represented so that when I would come around and put that code on their work, they knew exactly what to do to correct it. They knew exactly if it was a misconception, if it was something with computation, etc. So just make sure that they understood the code so that it would effectively, immediately register to what they were supposed to do.
Okay, so based on what we discussed today about aggressive monitoring, what do you think your action steps should be? Your next action step should be when aggressively monitoring?
My next action step should definitely be to continue to make sure that they understand what I'm looking for as I aggressively monitor and come around on each lab. And then to make sure that I'm able to give them immediate feedback in terms of just something that can just propel them forward immediately without having to go into a full-fledged lesson, and then addressing that time issue, making sure that they understand that there's an expectation in terms of the time and the time allotted to complete each task for each lab.
To complete each. Okay. So we're going now is, okay, so your action step today is to, this is what I heard you say, can you continue to work to make sure they understand each lab, immediately give them feedback, and address the time allotted for the independent work that you're giving. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is go ahead and write down your action steps so you'll have it written down so you know what we're looking for the next time we come in. Okay, now just go ahead and just state how will you execute this action step.
Okay, the first one, name each lab. So just identify the labs prior to the aggressive monitoring portion of the lesson, making sure that I already have them named and the expectation for each lab. And then, with that said, the next one would be the amount of time allotted for each lab. Kind of have an idea of how long it should take without rushing them, but would also without wasting time, making sure that the time is being used in an effective manner. And then, thirdly, immediate feedback. I already have some of the misconceptions already in hand, so that as I'm aggressively monitoring, I can make suggestions that they could tackle at their desk without going into a full lesson immediately.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.